Well, hello, Annina. Thank you so much for coming back here to Data Natives. You were part of the very first Data Natives, laying the foundations with us, and now returning on the 4th edition.
Yeah, my name is Annina Neumann, and I've been actually in this whole data business for quite some time now. Currently, I work at ProSieben Sat.1 as a VP in data technology. But during the past, 15 years or so, I've always built up data teams, done a lot of data science. That's where I actually come from. I've always enjoyed working with different companies in different scenarios. And this is also what I presented here today. So it's a lot about, utilizing AI in business and what to do and what not to do.
So what to do and what not to do then when it comes to AI in business?
So what to do is definitely, be positive about it, enjoy the experience, really ignore the hype. There's a lot of hype out there, but, really see what actually is real. And what not to do is, you really don't be very egocentric, don't think, oh, I'm just going to do all of this alone, and don't just, follow the hype and do, just don't think it's just plug and play and it's going to work. It is still an adventure these days.
An adventure? What does that mean?
Well, it means that, it's very still like an individual project. Every AI, application that you build, whenever you utilize AI, there's not really standard methods or really standard approaches and software out there so that you can just, start doing it. So it's always a rather long time figuring out what you want to do, how you want to do it, and there's going to be a lot of errors on the road. It's trial and error lots of times. It's lots of times experimenting. And maybe sometimes you think you're going to get one thing, but that doesn't work, but then you find out that, oh, actually maybe that works another way. But if you think that everything is going to work straight from the beginning, you probably get really frustrated.
It is a lot of trial and error. Can you give us an example of a project that you worked on and, how did you pivot, for example, like you started with a hypothesis and then you realize maybe halfway that it doesn't work out and then you just rebuild the model perhaps?
Yeah, sure. So maybe one example that I also talked about in my talk today is right now, ProSieben Sat.1, we're working on automizing the youth protection process. So, we're also a TV company, or, we have a lot of channels where we actually show content to users. So, of course, that content needs to be checked before for things like, nudity, violence, or forbidden symbols, or things like that. And right now there's a lot of people who have to do that manually. So we're using AI to build a machine that actually, in the end, is really supposed to automate parts of the process. So it's supposed to scan the material automatically and then just point to possibly critical places. And so in that project, it is, quite an adventure because we're still trying to figure out how good actually are the algorithms. So, we're testing few of them at the moment, then go back with the business, which, just to get a feeling of whether it is actually good enough or not. So we find some funny errors that the algorithms make because we don't have enough training data. And so, that's actually one of the things where we're going back and forth and we're not quite sure yet whether the algorithms are actually going to be good enough or if we need more training data or need different training data.
On that note, any other project that you're now working in the future within ProSieben Sat.1 that you would like to share, or even independently, like anything that you're excited about?
Well, I think in general, about ProSieben Sat.1, what I'm really excited about is that it's becoming a lot more of, it's like a central entertainment sort of platform. A lot of people are asking me about, oh, isn't that really sort of old and tiring? And what, a TV company? What are you actually doing with data and tech there? And it's really actually very exciting what's happening there at the moment because everything's transforming and, we're becoming a lot more a tech company because we see that, that's basically the only way to go if you want to scale and become more flexible and get, all different sorts of contents and different sorts of contexts over different channels, to the user out there and actually, make cool modern entertainment. So there's so many projects along the way in that sense that are really fun to work on.
Good to know that. So you, as I said in the beginning as well, you've been here 4 years ago. Now you came back. What is your impression now of the conference and of this community, and of course, the like how people are now dealing and perceiving data science as a field?
Well, basically, I'm very impressed that, I think it was already a very lively conference 4 years ago, but now, it's a lot bigger, it seems a lot broader and more known, so I think that it's developed in a really cool way. I think the funny thing is that in terms of data science, and you can also see that in the talks a bit, there's sort of two, I know you talk about not two sides, but there's a lot of people on the one hand who are still, sort of like really saying, oh, this is all a hype, and it's really, there's so many great things we can do with it, and, tomorrow we'll be all replaced by robots. No, not that way, but, really sort of pushing this really high visions for the future. But then now, compared to 4 years ago, there's also a lot of people who are wondering, and a lot of talks about really, okay, what is it really about, and what can we really use it for, and let's more get down to the bottom and away from the hype. I think there's a lot more demand for it now that the hype is maybe, I don't know if we're probably if you're at the peak of the hype, so now it's already starting a bit that people are really asking more about the bottom line of it. And of course that's the data science part of it then becomes more prominent, because people are really wondering, how do I actually get a data model to work, and what really is the most important part about data science, so that you can actually in the end have a running application.
Yeah, I think we're becoming more sober. Like now we're sobering up after like the fear of AI taking over the world and the jobs, and now we're like understanding the real value of it. Excellent. Thank you so much.